Imagine reinventing yourself into the person you've always dreamed of. This audiobook is your guide to breaking free from old patterns, mastering your mindset, and creating lasting change. The transformation starts now. Are you ready to step into your true potential? Introduction. Welcome. You've taken the first step toward transforming your life, and I couldn't be more excited for you. This audiobook is about reinvention, not just on the surface, but at the deepest, most foundational level. Whether you're going through a major life change, feeling stagnant, or simply know that there's more for you to accomplish, this is the guide you've been waiting for. But before we dive in, let me tell you why reinventing yourself is so important and how this audiobook will guide you on your journey. Why reinventing yourself matters. So, why does reinventing yourself matter? Let's start with a simple truth. Life is dynamic. People grow, they evolve, and they sometimes find themselves at a crossroads where change is needed. Whether you're dealing with external changes like a career shift, a new environment, or a personal loss, or whether you simply feel like your old patterns and habits are no longer serving you, reinventing yourself is an empowering way to embrace what's next. Reinvention isn't just about changing who you are. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. It's about stepping into your full potential and breaking free from limiting beliefs, fear, or the comfort of the familiar. When you embrace reinvention, you're taking control of your narrative. In our fast-paced world, change is inevitable. What often trips us up is how we respond to that change. Reinventing yourself allows you to respond proactively rather than reactively. It puts you in the driver's seat of your life, giving you the power to steer your future in the direction you desire. But here's the thing, reinvention isn't a one-time event. It's a process, a continuous evolution of who you are, how you show up in the world, and what you're capable of. You don't need to wait for a big life event or crisis to reinvent yourself. In fact, reinvention is something you can pursue at any stage of life. It's about growth, adaptability, and making the choice to evolve. Reinvention means letting go of outdated beliefs, releasing the past, and creating space for new opportunities, new mindsets, and new ways of being. It's an act of self-love and self-empowerment, and it allows you to design the life you've always wanted. How this audiobook will guide you. In this audiobook, I'm going to be your guide through that journey of reinvention. Each chapter is designed to help you peel back the layers of who you are and rediscover yourself with fresh eyes. We'll go step by step, addressing both the internal and external shifts you need to make to truly transform your life. The journey of reinvention isn't always smooth. It's going to require courage, commitment, and resilience, but I'm here to help you navigate it. Here's how this audiobook will help guide you. 1. Clarify your vision. Reinvention starts with clarity. You'll learn how to create a clear, compelling vision for your future. Without a vision, it's easy to get lost along the way. This section will help you define what you truly want out of life, so you know exactly what you're working toward. 2. Mindset shifts. One of the most important parts of reinvention is changing your mindset. How you think shapes what you do. I'll walk you through powerful shifts in perspective that will help you move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, opening up endless possibilities for change. 3. Overcome limiting beliefs. We all carry beliefs that hold us back, but here's the good news. You can change them. We'll dive deep into the process of identifying and releasing those beliefs that have kept you stuck and replacing them with empowering ones that align with your reinvented self. 4. Practical steps for transformation. Reinvention isn't just about inspiration, it's about action. I'll show you how to break down the transformation process into clear, actionable steps. You'll learn how to build lasting habits, develop new routines, and create systems that support your reinvention. Transformation is not a one-time event, but a lifestyle. 5. Building resilience. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments when you doubt yourself. But with resilience, you'll be able to keep going. We'll discuss how to stay persistent and focused even when things get tough, helping you maintain momentum and keep growing. 6. Living your reinvention. Ultimately, reinvention is about living in alignment with your new self. I'll guide you in making your reinvention part of your everyday life. It's not just about what you do, it's about who you become. We'll wrap up by showing you how to maintain your reinvention over time, ensuring that it becomes a sustained, lifelong transformation. By the end of this audiobook, you'll not only understand the process of reinvention, but you'll also have the tools to turn your vision into reality. You'll be equipped to handle obstacles, stay focused, and embrace the growth that comes with change. This journey won't always be easy, but trust me, it will be worth it. You're about to unlock your full potential and step into a new chapter of your life, and I'm so honored to be part of that process with you. So, let's get started. Chapter 1. The Power of Reinvention. Let's be real for a moment. Have you ever woken up in the morning feeling like you've been living on autopilot? You know, just going through the motions, working, meeting deadlines, checking off endless tasks, showing up for everyone else. But somehow, when it's all said and done, there's a nagging feeling that something is missing. Maybe you've spent so long helping others, trying to live up to other people's expectations, that you've forgotten what it even feels like to put yourself first. Maybe you've been so busy surviving, you've completely lost sight of thriving. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know that you're not alone. So many of us feel this way, caught in the grind, yearning for something more but unsure of how to break free. But here's the thing, you can break free. You are allowed to rewrite your story, to reinvent yourself. And it's not as hard as it seems. Reinvention isn't about dramatically changing your entire life overnight. It's about deciding to make yourself the priority every day. It's about taking small steps, consistently choosing yourself, and creating a life that actually feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. This isn't a book about quick fixes or empty promises. It's about real transformation, the kind that happens from the inside out. If you've been putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own, it's time to stop. It's time to choose you. What reinvention really means, and what it doesn't. When most people think of reinvention, they picture something dramatic. Maybe they imagine someone quitting their job, cutting their hair, or moving to a new city like a scene out of a movie montage. While those external changes can certainly be a part of reinvention, true reinvention goes much deeper. It's not just about doing new things. It's about becoming a new version of yourself. It's about shedding the old skin of who you were, of who you thought you had to be, and stepping into who you were always meant to be. At its heart, reinvention means reclaiming your time, your energy, and your choices. For far too long, you've been stuck in autopilot mode, letting life happen to you. Reinvention is about taking back control, letting go of limiting beliefs and outdated patterns. The version of you that's afraid to say no, that feels guilty when you take time for yourself, that doubts your worth. It's time to let that version go. Building confidence through consistent action. Reinvention isn't a one-time event. It's a daily commitment to showing up for yourself, even on the days when it feels hard. Creating a life that feels fulfilling and aligned. It's about making sure that what you're doing is in harmony with your values, your passions, and your purpose. Making yourself a priority every single day. This isn't selfish. You can't pour from an empty cup. By putting yourself first, you have more to give to others. But here's the catch. Reinvention is not about dramatically tearing down everything you've built. It's not about starting from scratch. It's about evolution, not revolution. It's about embracing growth, not destruction. A one-time fix or magic bullet. Reinvention is a journey. You're not going to wake up one day and be completely transformed. It's a process of small, consistent changes that build up over time. Seeking validation from others. Reinvention starts from within. No one else's opinion matters as much as your own. Being selfish in the negative sense. Choosing yourself doesn't mean abandoning others. It's about understanding that when you prioritize your own well-being, everyone benefits. Reinvention is about finding your true self, the one that's been buried under the weight of responsibilities, fears, and other people's expectations. And the best part? It's never too late to start. You're already worthy of reinvention, and all it takes is one small decision to begin. Why people struggle to prioritize themselves. Now you might be wondering, if reinvention is so powerful, why do so many people resist it? Why do we stay stuck in our current situations, doing the same things over and over, feeling unfulfilled? The answer for many lies in 3 core fears. 1. Fear of judgment. What will people think if I change? 2. Fear of failure. What if I try and it doesn't work? 3. Fear of the unknown. What if I step into something new and regret it? Let's take a deeper look at each of these fears, because understanding them is key to overcoming them. Fear of judgment. For many of us, the biggest barrier to reinvention is the fear of what others will think. We've spent so long living according to other people's expectations that the thought of changing, of going against the grain, feels terrifying. What if we disappoint others? What if people think we're being selfish? Or worse, what if they judge us for not being the person they expect us to be? But here's the truth. The people who will judge you for reinventing yourself are not the people who will help you grow. When you finally make the decision to prioritize yourself, there will always be people who question it, who resist it. But their resistance doesn't define you. The only person's opinion that truly matters is yours. Reinvention means you give yourself permission to release the need for external validation and trust your own instincts. Remember, the right people will support your growth, and if someone doesn't understand or approve of your changes, it's their problem, not yours. Fear of failure. Another major fear that holds people back is the fear of failure. What if you try to reinvent yourself and it doesn't work? What if you set boundaries, take risks, or pursue something new and it all falls apart? What if you put yourself out there and it ends in disappointment? But failure isn't the end. It's part of the process. Every successful person you admire has faced failure. The difference between them and someone who stays stuck is that they kept going. Reinvention is a journey, not a straight line. Along the way, you'll encounter challenges and setbacks, but each one is an opportunity to learn, grow, and adjust. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply feedback. And here's the secret. You can't fail if you don't quit. The only true failure is choosing to stay the same. So, let the fear of failure propel you forward, not hold you back. Fear of the unknown. Finally, there's the fear of the unknown. Change is scary. Moving out of your comfort zone means you're stepping into uncertainty, and that can be overwhelming. What if you make a decision, take a risk, and regret it? What if the life you're envisioning doesn't turn out the way you thought it would? But here's what I want you to remember. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. Yes, it's safe. Yes, it's familiar. But staying in your comfort zone means you're not growing. It means you're stuck. Reinvention is about stepping into that discomfort, trusting that the unknown holds new possibilities. You don't have to have all the answers right now. All you need is the courage to take the first step. the mindset shift from people-pleasing to self-commitment. If you've spent your life putting others' needs before your own, shifting to a mindset of self-commitment can feel uncomfortable, maybe even selfish. But here's the thing. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're always giving to others but never refueling yourself, you're going to burn out. Reinvention isn't about neglecting others. It's about honoring your own needs first so that you can show up as the best version of yourself for the people around you. Reinvention is about putting yourself back at the center of your own life. It's about making the decision to live a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. It's about choosing yourself every single day. Are you ready to begin your journey? Because your reinvention starts now. Chapter 2. Defining your core values and purpose. Welcome back. Now that you've begun to grasp the power of reinvention and have started to understand the fears that hold you back, it's time to dive into the heart of your personal transformation. Defining your core values and purpose. Without these two pillars in place, your reinvention can feel directionless. Imagine setting out on a long road trip without a map or GPS. You might drive, but you'll likely end up lost, wasting time and energy. That's exactly what happens when you don't have a clear sense of what matters most to you. Your values and purpose serve as your internal compass, guiding you toward decisions and actions that align with who you really are and who you want to become. But here's the good news. Defining your core values and purpose doesn't have to be a complex or overwhelming task. It's about tuning in to what feels true and right for you, not what society or others tell you should be important. This chapter is designed to help you discover and articulate those values and to reconnect with your deeper sense of purpose so you can move forward with clarity, confidence, and commitment. What are core values and why do they matter? Let's start with the basics. Core values are the deeply held beliefs that guide your decisions, actions, and interactions with others. They shape how you view the world, how you treat yourself and others, and how you navigate life's challenges. Your values define what is non-negotiable in your life, and they provide the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without a strong connection to your values, life can feel like you're constantly chasing after something that you can never quite reach. When your values are clear, however, you become grounded, centered, and focused on what truly matters. For example, if one of your core values is integrity, you might find it difficult to engage in situations where dishonesty or shortcuts are involved. If freedom is a core value, you might feel stifled in a job or relationship that limits your autonomy. On the other hand, if community or connection is a value, you might prioritize nurturing relationships and building support networks. But why does this matter so much in the context of reinvention? Well, when you're reinventing yourself, whether that's in your career, relationships, or personal growth, you need a clear understanding of what drives you. Your values act as your internal filter, helping you assess every decision, every opportunity, and every relationship that comes your way. They allow you to determine whether something is worth your time, energy, and commitment, or if it's something you need to let go of. The great thing about values is that they're personal. What's important to you might not be the same as what's important to someone else, and that's completely okay. In fact, part of your reinvention is about identifying and embracing your unique set of values. They'll provide you with the courage to make choices that align with your authentic self, even when the path forward is uncertain or unpopular. How to identify your core values. Now that you understand why values are so essential, let's talk about how to actually identify them. This is where the work of self-reflection comes in. Getting clear on your core values requires you to dig deep into your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. It's about asking yourself the hard questions and listening to your gut. Here's a simple but powerful exercise you can do right now to start the process of uncovering your core values. Step 1. reflect on peak moments in your life. Think back to times in your life when you felt truly fulfilled, proud, and at peace. These could be moments where you felt deeply connected to your work, relationships, or personal growth. Maybe it was the time you helped someone in need, launched a creative project, or achieved a significant personal milestone. Pay attention to how these moments made you feel. What was it about those experiences that made them meaningful? Did they align with specific qualities or principles? Step 2. Create a list of values. Once you've reflected on your peak moments, start making a list of values that resonate with you. These could include things like honesty, creativity, growth, connection, adventure, balance, freedom, security, empathy, kindness, and so on. Don't rush this process. Let the list grow as you tune in to what's truly important. Step 3. Narrow down your list. Now that you have a comprehensive list, it's time to narrow it down to the top 3 to 5 values that most deeply resonate with you. If you're feeling stuck, ask yourself, which values do I feel the most aligned with? Which ones guide my decisions on a daily basis? Remember, you're not trying to fit into someone else's mold. These values should be authentically yours. Step 4. Assess your life. Take a step back and assess how well your current life aligns with your values. Are there areas where you're living in alignment with your core values? Are there areas where you're compromising or neglecting them? This step is crucial because it helps you identify where your reinvention needs to happen. If your life isn't reflecting your core values, you'll likely feel out of balance, stressed, or dissatisfied. This is where you need to make changes. Understanding your purpose. Once you've defined your core values, the next piece of the puzzle is uncovering your purpose, the deeper reason behind why you do what you do. Your purpose is the guiding light that illuminates your path. It's what drives you forward when the going gets tough. While your values define how you want to live, your purpose defines why you want to live that way. It's your why in action. For example, if one of your core values is creativity, your purpose might be to inspire others through art or innovation. If your core value is service, your purpose might be to make a positive impact on your community or the world. Your purpose might not always be perfectly clear, and that's okay. It can evolve over time. But having a sense of purpose is like having a North Star. It helps you navigate challenges and stay focused on what truly matters. So, how do you define your purpose? Here's an exercise to help you uncover it. Step 1. Identify what brings you joy and fulfillment. Think about the activities or experiences that light you up. Those moments when you lose track of time, feel deeply alive, or experience a sense of flow. These moments often give clues about your purpose. For instance, do you feel most alive when you're teaching others, creating something new, helping those in need, or working toward a larger cause? Step 2. Reflect on your strengths and passions. Consider your unique strengths and talents, those things that come naturally to you and that others often compliment you on. How do your strengths and passions align with the world's needs? Where do they intersect? Your purpose is often found at the intersection of your talents, passions, and what the world needs. Step 3. Ask yourself the big questions finally. Ask yourself these powerful questions. What impact do I want to make in the world? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? If money, time, and resources were no object, what would I do? These questions can help you get closer to understanding your purpose. Again, your purpose doesn't have to be perfect or fully fleshed out from the start. It's a direction, not a destination. Aligning your values and purpose with your reinvention. Now that you have a clearer sense of your values and purpose, it's time to take action. Reinvention isn't just about having good intentions or knowing what matters to you. It's about aligning your daily actions with those intentions. When you live in alignment with your values and purpose, everything becomes easier. You're not chasing after external goals that don't resonate with you. Instead, you're making choices that are rooted in who you truly are. So, what does this look like in practice? It could mean saying no to opportunities or commitments that don't align with your values. It could mean pursuing a career that allows you to express your purpose, even if it's not the most conventional path. It could mean setting boundaries in relationships that honor your time and energy. Every small decision you make can be a reflection of your values and purpose, and each one will bring you closer to the reinvention you desire. In the journey of reinvention, your core values and purpose are the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you know what matters most to you, and you have a clear sense of why you do what you do, you can approach every decision with confidence and clarity. Your reinvention is no longer just about changing what you do. It's about aligning who you are with the life you truly want to create. So, take a moment to reflect on your values and purpose. Revisit them regularly. Let them guide you. Because when you make choices that honor your deepest beliefs and align with your greater purpose, you'll be amazed at the power of transformation that unfolds. This is just the beginning of your reinvention journey, and you're already on the right track. Chapter 3. Building Self-Confidence, the Foundation of Reinvention. Welcome back. If you've been following along, you've already done some heavy lifting by identifying your core values and purpose. But now comes one of the most crucial aspects of your reinvention journey: building self-confidence. Without self-confidence, your values and purpose will remain theoretical concepts rather than powerful forces that drive you toward action. Confidence is the bridge between knowing who you are and acting in alignment with that truth. It's what will propel you forward when doubt creeps in, when challenges arise, and when you feel like you're not enough. But let's be clear about something. Confidence is not a personality trait reserved for a select few. It's not something you either have or don't have. It's a skill you can develop. You can build your confidence from the ground up, one small action at a time. And as you do, you'll find that it becomes an unstoppable force that propels you toward your reinvention goals. This part of the book is all about helping you understand how to cultivate that confidence and how to apply it to every area of your life. Understanding what confidence really is. Before diving into how to build confidence, it's important to first define what confidence really is. Many people think of confidence as being bold, assertive, or even brash. While that might be one form of confidence, true, lasting confidence is a much deeper concept. At its core, confidence is trust in your own abilities and worth. It's the belief that no matter what life throws your way, you have the strength and skills to handle it. Confidence doesn't mean that you feel invincible all the time, nor does it mean you'll never experience doubt. In fact, real confidence often involves feeling fear and doubt, but choosing to act in spite of it. It's about trusting yourself to figure things out, knowing that no challenge is insurmountable as long as you approach it with the right mindset and resilience. Think about the people you admire, those who seem to move through life with ease and grace, no matter what obstacles they face. Do they seem like they've never been scared? Never doubted themselves? Of course not. What makes them confident is their ability to keep going, to take action, even when the outcome is uncertain. They trust that they are capable of figuring it out as they go. Why self-confidence is essential for reinvention. Why is self-confidence such an important piece of the reinvention puzzle? Simply put, reinvention requires courage. To change your life, you need the confidence to step outside your comfort zone, make bold decisions, and challenge the status quo. Whether it's starting a new career, ending a toxic relationship, or taking on a new creative project, each of these actions requires you to trust yourself. Confidence will allow you to take those first steps and keep moving forward when things get tough. In fact, confidence is one of the most important predictors of success in reinvention. Without it, you'll second-guess yourself, hesitate to take action, and fall into the trap of perfectionism. With it, you'll approach life with a sense of self-assurance that allows you to act decisively, bounce back from setbacks, and keep your eyes on your goals. Confidence is the armor you need to face uncertainty, setbacks, and rejection with resilience. The role of self-talk in building confidence. One of the most powerful tools in building self-confidence is the way you talk to yourself. Self-talk refers to the inner dialogue that runs in your mind throughout the day. The thoughts you have about yourself, your abilities, and your worth shape your reality. If your self-talk is negative, self-critical, or full of doubt, it's going to be much harder to feel confident and take action. On the other hand, if your self-talk is encouraging, supportive, and constructive, you'll build the inner strength needed to reinvent yourself. So, how do you change your self-talk? The first step is awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that arise when you face a challenge. Are you telling yourself that you're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough? Or are you reminding yourself of your strengths, past successes, and potential? The key is to catch those negative, self-limiting thoughts and replace them with positive affirmations and empowering beliefs. Here's an example. If you're about to make a big decision, maybe launching a new business or asking for a promotion, your mind might start flooding with thoughts like, "I'm not ready for this," or "What if I fail?" Instead of letting those thoughts take control, try reframing them into something more supportive. "I've successfully faced challenges before, and I can handle this too." Or, "I'm learning and growing, and I'm capable of figuring this out." Remember, your brain will believe whatever you tell it. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, your confidence will remain low. But if you start telling yourself that you are capable, worthy, and resourceful, you'll begin to notice a shift in how you carry yourself and approach challenges. Overcoming the fear of judgment and rejection. One of the biggest roadblocks to building confidence is the fear of judgment and rejection. When you're reinventing yourself, you're stepping into new territory, and that can feel vulnerable. You may worry about what others will think. Will they approve of the changes you're making? What if they criticize you? Or worse, reject you? The key to overcoming this fear is to realize that you are not here to please everyone. You don't need the approval of everyone around you to validate your worth. Your confidence doesn't depend on other people's opinions. In fact, the more you live authentically in alignment with your values and purpose, the more you'll naturally attract people who truly support and appreciate you. It's important to remember that rejection and criticism are inevitable parts of life, especially when you're changing or trying something new. Every successful person has faced rejection at some point. What sets them apart is their ability to bounce back from it. They don't let the fear of rejection hold them back. Instead, they use it as fuel for growth. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply part of the process of putting yourself out there. To help you build confidence in the face of judgment, try this exercise. Imagine that the people you're worried about criticizing you are in your corner instead. Picture them cheering you on, applauding your efforts, and celebrating your success. When you change the narrative in your mind, you shift your relationship with fear and judgment. Building confidence through action. There's no better way to build confidence than through action. Confidence doesn't magically appear. It's built through consistent, small steps that prove to yourself that you're capable. Every time you take a step outside your comfort zone, you reinforce the belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. This creates a positive feedback loop that strengthens your confidence over time. For example, let's say you've been wanting to start a new fitness routine, but you're feeling intimidated by the idea of going to the gym. The thought of starting feels overwhelming, so you've been putting it off. But here's the thing. The moment you take that first step, whether it's signing up for a class, going for a walk, or simply doing one push-up, you'll start to feel a shift in your confidence. You'll prove to yourself that you can follow through, even on something you've been avoiding. And with each small success, your confidence grows. The key is to start small and build momentum. Each action, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. Every time you follow through on a goal, no matter how minor it may seem, you reinforce your belief in yourself. With time, those small actions compound into significant growth. Building long-term confidence, the importance of self-care. Finally, remember that confidence is not just about mental strength. It's also about taking care of your body, mind, and spirit. Self-care is a crucial component of long-term confidence. When you prioritize your well-being, you show yourself that you are worth the time, effort, and care. You nourish your body with healthy food and movement, clear your mind with meditation or journaling, and soothe your spirit with moments of rest and relaxation. A confident person knows that self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. When you take care of yourself, you replenish your energy and resources, which in turn fuels your ability to show up as the best version of yourself. Self-care also helps you stay grounded and centered, making it easier to navigate challenges with a sense of calm and clarity. Building self-confidence is a lifelong journey. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's not something you can fix in one go. But each step you take toward building your confidence makes the next step a little easier. And as your confidence grows, you'll begin to see the world differently. You'll approach challenges with courage, take risks with conviction, and pursue your reinvention with the unshakable belief that you can create the life you want. Remember, you are capable, you are worthy, and you have everything you need to create the life of your dreams. Keep taking those small, confident steps and watch how your world transforms. Chapter 4: Setting Goals and Creating a Roadmap for Reinvention. Welcome back. So far, we've covered the foundational elements of reinvention: your core values, your purpose, and building self-confidence. Now comes the next critical step: setting clear, actionable goals and creating a roadmap for your reinvention. Think about it. Without goals, reinvention can feel like a journey without a destination. You know you want something different, but you don't know where to start, how to proceed, or what success even looks like. Setting clear, measurable goals transforms the vague notion of reinventing yourself into something concrete, tangible, and attainable. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. It's chaotic and overwhelming. But when you have a roadmap, you can lay the foundation, build one step at a time, and watch your vision come to life. This chapter is about giving you the tools to create that roadmap. We're going to break down goal setting into digestible, actionable steps so you can start working toward your reinvention with confidence and clarity. Why goal setting is essential for reinvention. You've likely heard the saying, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." This couldn't be more true when it comes to personal reinvention. Goal setting is essential because it takes your abstract dreams and turns them into specific, measurable, and time-bound objectives. Without goals, you risk drifting aimlessly, unsure of where to focus your energy. But with clear goals, you gain direction, motivation, and a roadmap to navigate the inevitable obstacles along the way. Let's think about the reinvention process for a second. It's easy to say, "I want to change my life," or "I want to reinvent myself." Those are admirable intentions, but they're too broad. In order to see real progress, you need to break your reinvention into specific goals that are both realistic and inspiring. Here's the thing: setting goals that align with your values and purpose ensures that your reinvention is grounded and meaningful. Your goals won't just be about achieving external markers of success. They'll be about creating a life that reflects who you truly are and who you want to become. So, how do we turn that dream of reinvention into a concrete, actionable plan? Let's dive in. Step 1: defining your vision of reinvention. Before you can set goals, you need to get clear on your vision. This is the big picture. the ideal version of yourself, and the life you want to create. Vision is the feeling you want to experience, the person you want to become, and the world you want to contribute to. It's the end result of your reinvention process. Let's take a moment and ask you, what does your reinvented life look like? Close your eyes and imagine yourself 1 year from now, 5 years from now. What have you accomplished? What do you feel? Who are you? What's different? Your vision of reinvention is not limited by current circumstances or external barriers. This is your ideal future. Don't hold back. Dream big. Is it becoming an entrepreneur, living a life of freedom, or discovering a new passion? Maybe it's shifting into a healthier lifestyle, prioritizing your well-being, or nurturing more meaningful relationships. Writing your vision down is key. Get clear on what you want to create. Be specific. Use vivid, descriptive language to capture exactly what success looks like for you. When you write it down, you make it real. You also give yourself something to refer to as you move forward in your journey, reminding yourself of why you're on this path. Step 2. Breaking your vision down into achievable goals. Once you've defined your vision, the next step is to break it down into smaller, actionable goals. Big, lofty goals are amazing, but they can also feel overwhelming if you don't break them down. Reinvention doesn't happen overnight, but with well-defined goals, you can make steady progress and feel accomplished along the way. Let's use the example of career reinvention. If your vision is to start your own business, that's a broad goal. But to make it actionable, break it down into smaller steps. Short-term goal: research business ideas, write a business plan, and outline startup costs within the next 2 months. Medium-term goal: secure funding, create a website, and start marketing the business within the next 6 months. Long-term goal: build a sustainable business, hire employees, and grow your customer base within 1 to 2 years. Each of these smaller goals is measurable and time-bound, making them much more attainable. The key is to make sure that each goal is aligned with your vision so that every step you take moves you closer to your ideal future. As you break your larger vision into smaller goals, remember that goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, also known as SMART goals. Let's break that down. Specific. Be clear about what you want to accomplish. Instead of saying, "I want to get fit," try, "I want to work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Measurable. Make sure you can track your progress. How will you know when you've achieved your goal? Setting a measurable goal gives you clear milestones. Achievable. Your goal should be realistic and within your capabilities. Stretch yourself, but make sure it's something you can feasibly accomplish. Relevant. Your goal should be aligned with your values and purpose. Does this goal support your vision for reinvention? Time-bound. Give yourself a time frame for completion. This helps you stay focused and motivated. Step 3. Creating an action plan. Now that you've broken down your goals, it's time to create an action plan. This plan will map out the specific steps you need to take to achieve each goal. It's one thing to have a goal, but it's another to know how you're going to get there. Let's say one of your goals is to start a new business. Your action plan might look like this. Step 1. Research industry trends and identify your niche, week 1 to 2. Step 2. Create a business plan and financial projections, week 3 to 4. Step 3. Start designing your website and building an online presence, month 2. Step 4. Launch a marketing campaign and begin networking, month 3 to 4. Step 5. Analyze your results and adjust your strategy accordingly, month 5. Each step is clearly defined and connected to your overarching goal of starting a business. By taking small, consistent actions, you'll move closer to your larger goal without feeling overwhelmed. Step 4. Building accountability into your process. One of the biggest challenges of goal setting is accountability. It's easy to get excited about a new goal and then lose motivation after a few weeks. This is where having an accountability system comes into play. Whether it's through a friend, mentor, or accountability partner, it's important to have someone who can check in on your progress and encourage you when the going gets tough. Here are a few ways to build accountability into your reinvention process. Set regular check-ins. Schedule weekly or monthly check-ins with someone you trust to discuss your progress. This person can help you stay focused and offer valuable feedback. Join a group or community. Surround yourself with others who are on a similar path. This can create a sense of camaraderie and inspire you to keep going. Track your progress. Keep a journal, create a vision board, or use an app to track your goals. Regularly reviewing your progress will help you stay motivated and give you the opportunity to adjust your plan if needed. Step 5. Overcoming obstacles and staying motivated. The road to reinvention is rarely a straight line. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments when you question whether you're on the right path. When this happens, it's important to have a plan for how to stay motivated and keep moving forward. Here are some strategies to help you stay on track. Remind yourself of your why. Revisit your vision and your core values. When things get tough, reconnect with the reason you're reinventing yourself in the first place. Celebrate small wins. Every step forward is a step toward your goal. Celebrate even the smallest victories, whether it's completing a task on your to-do list or hitting a milestone in your journey. Be flexible. Reinvention is a process, not a destination. If something isn't working, don't be afraid to pivot or adjust your plan. Flexibility is key to staying motivated and open to new possibilities. By now, you've learned the importance of setting goals and creating a roadmap for your reinvention. You've broken down your larger vision into actionable goals, and you've created a plan to take consistent steps toward achieving them. As you move forward in your reinvention journey, remember that goal setting is not about perfection. It's about progress. Each small step you take brings you closer to your vision. Don't get discouraged if things don't go exactly as planned. Stay flexible, stay motivated, and keep moving forward. Your goals are the map that will guide you through your reinvention, and with each milestone you hit, you'll build even more confidence in your ability to transform your life. Chapter 5. Overcoming fear and self-doubt, the invisible walls holding you back. Welcome back. Now that you've set clear goals and crafted your roadmap for reinvention, we come to one of the most important and often overlooked aspects of personal transformation: overcoming fear and self-doubt. No matter how well you plan, no matter how confident you feel at the start, there's one thing that every person faces on the road to reinvention: fear. Fear is not just some abstract feeling you can ignore. It's the inner voice that questions your decisions, challenges your abilities, and often paralyzes you from taking action. It's the voice that tells you, "What if you fail?" Or, "What if people judge you?" It's that nagging self-doubt that makes you hesitate, even when you know deep down that you're capable of succeeding. This chapter is designed to help you understand fear and self-doubt for what they are: temporary, surmountable challenges that can be overcome with the right tools and mindset. When you learn how to face these invisible walls head-on, you will gain the ability to continue forward in your reinvention, no matter how scary the journey may seem. Why fear and self-doubt are natural, but not your friends. It's crucial to understand that fear and self-doubt are natural parts of the human experience, especially when you're trying to reinvent yourself. No one is immune to them. In fact, fear often shows up at the very moments when you're stepping into new territory, attempting something bold, or challenging yourself. You can expect it to rear its head as you begin to make changes. But just because fear is natural doesn't mean it's helpful. In fact, if you let fear and self-doubt rule your actions, they'll keep you stuck. They'll stop you from taking the necessary steps toward your goals, keeping you trapped in a cycle of inaction and stagnation. This is where understanding and managing fear becomes a superpower in your reinvention process. You can think of fear as an emotional signal. It's not a sign to stop, but rather an indicator that you're on the edge of growth. Fear often appears when you are about to break through a barrier, and it can be a sign that you're moving in the right direction. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond to that fear. The different faces of fear and self-doubt. Fear and self-doubt show up in many different forms. It's not always a loud, dramatic voice in your head telling you that you'll fail. Sometimes it's much more subtle. 1. Fear of failure. This is the most common form of fear that holds people back. It's the fear that you won't succeed, that you'll waste time, energy, and resources on something that doesn't pan out. This fear can lead to procrastination, perfectionism, and a constant state of analysis paralysis, where you never feel ready to take action. 2. Fear of judgment. The fear of what others think can be paralyzing. When you're reinventing yourself, you might worry about being judged by your friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers on social media. The thought of being criticized or rejected can stop you in your tracks, causing you to hide your ideas or avoid taking risks. 3. Imposter syndrome. This is a particularly sneaky form of self-doubt. Imposter syndrome makes you feel like a fraud, even when you're fully qualified and capable. It's the feeling that you don't deserve your success, and that one day, everyone will realize you're not as competent as they think you are. 4. Fear of change. Change, even positive change, can be daunting. It's easy to stay stuck in your comfort zone, even if you're not happy with where you are. The fear of the unknown, of what your new life might look like, can make you hesitant to make any shifts, even if they're in your best interest. 5. Fear of success. Believe it or not, some people fear success itself. Success can bring new responsibilities, more attention, and expectations that might feel overwhelming. There's often an underlying fear that once you reach a certain level of success, you'll be unable to handle it. Each of these fears is common, but they don't have to stop you. In fact, understanding these fears and the way they manifest is the first step in overcoming them. By naming the fear, you can begin to disarm it, reducing its power over you. The science behind fear and how it holds you back. Fear is a biological response. It's rooted in our brains as a survival mechanism. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster of nuclei in the brain, is responsible for processing emotions, particularly fear. When faced with a perceived threat, whether real or imagined, the amygdala sends out a signal that triggers the body's fight or flight response. In ancient times, this was useful for survival. But in today's world, fear is often triggered by internal, non-life-threatening events, like starting a new project or taking a leap of faith. What's important to know is that fear can distort your perception of reality. The fight or flight response is meant for emergencies, not the normal challenges of daily life. However, when your fear is triggered by reinvention, it often leads to exaggerated thoughts. I can't do this. Or, this will be a disaster. These thoughts can cause you to freeze, procrastinate, or avoid taking action altogether. What's even more interesting is that self-doubt is often rooted in past experiences. If you've failed at something before or faced criticism, your brain can associate similar future actions with those past negative experiences. As a result, you feel insecure, doubting your ability to succeed. This creates a feedback loop. Past failure leads to fear, which reinforces the belief that you will fail again, making it even harder to take action. Changing your relationship with fear and self-doubt. The first step in overcoming fear and self-doubt is to acknowledge them without judgment. You don't need to try to banish fear completely. Instead, you can start by accepting it as a natural part of the process. Rather than fighting fear, start embracing it as a signal of growth. When you feel that twinge of fear, remind yourself that you're pushing boundaries and stepping out of your comfort zone. This is a sign that you're on the right track. Here's a simple yet powerful technique to start shifting your relationship with fear. Name the fear. Instead of letting fear take over, give it a name. For example, you could call it the doubter or the critic. By labeling the fear, you separate it from yourself and gain some distance. You're no longer afraid. You're simply experiencing fear. Reframe the fear. When you feel fear, try to reframe it as excitement. The physical sensations of fear, like a racing heart or sweaty palms, are almost identical to the feelings of excitement. Tell yourself that the energy you're feeling is actually a sign of enthusiasm for the unknown, not something to be afraid of. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often, our fears are irrational, and when we examine them closely, we realize that the worst-case scenario is not as bad as we think. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I fail? Usually, the answer isn't life-threatening. It's more likely that you'll learn a valuable lesson and move forward. Take action. Anyway, the most effective way to neutralize fear is through action. Fear thrives on inaction, but when you take small, deliberate steps forward, you weaken its hold. Each time you move forward despite fear, you build confidence and prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way. Turning fear into motivation. Instead of letting fear paralyze you, you can use it as fuel for motivation. Fear can serve as a wake-up call, reminding you of what's at stake and why you're doing this. The key is to channel that energy into positive action. Instead of allowing fear to keep you stuck, use it as a reminder of why your reinvention is worth pursuing. Fear is often a sign that you're on the brink of something powerful, something that could change your life. When you feel fear, ask yourself, what would my future self want me to do? Imagine how good it will feel to look back on this moment knowing that you didn't let fear stop you from achieving your goals. Building resilience against fear. The more you face fear, the easier it becomes to move past it. Resilience is the key to overcoming self-doubt in the long term. Resilience doesn't mean you won't experience fear or setbacks. It means that you've developed the mental strength to keep going despite them. To build resilience, remember to celebrate small wins. Every time you take action, no matter how small, celebrate it. This reinforces your belief in yourself and your ability to overcome challenges. Surround yourself with support. Having a support system of friends, mentors, or a community who encourages you can help you stay grounded and resilient in the face of fear. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself during the process of reinvention. Fear and self-doubt are part of the journey, and it's important to treat yourself with the same care and understanding that you would offer a friend. Fear and self-doubt will always be part of the reinvention process, but they don't have to control your journey. By acknowledging your fears, reframing them, and taking consistent action, you'll learn to turn fear into a powerful motivator. The key is to keep moving forward even when fear is present. It's not the absence of fear that will lead to success. It's your ability to act in spite of it. Chapter 6. Building Emotional Resilience, Navigating Setbacks and Staying on Track. Welcome back. Now that we've talked about facing fear and self-doubt, it's time to explore a critical aspect of reinvention: emotional resilience. Reinvention isn't just about setting goals and taking action. It's about developing the strength to handle the inevitable setbacks and challenges that come your way. Think about it. The road to reinvention is rarely a smooth one. You will face unexpected hurdles, moments of doubt, and periods of frustration. But what separates those who succeed from those who give up is their ability to bounce back from adversity. This is emotional resilience, the ability to adapt, recover, and keep moving forward in the face of challenges. In this chapter, we're going to dive into how to build emotional resilience so that you can handle setbacks with grace, stay on track during tough times, and emerge stronger on the other side. We'll look at practical strategies you can use to boost your resilience and avoid letting temporary setbacks derail your entire journey of reinvention. Understanding emotional resilience. What it is and why it matters. Emotional resilience is often defined as the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It's the ability to stay calm and composed during challenging situations, to adapt to change, and to bounce back from adversity. Emotional resilience doesn't mean that you won't feel pain, frustration, or disappointment. Instead, it means that you have the inner strength to weather the storm and continue moving forward with determination and clarity. But why is resilience so important during reinvention? Well, because the path to transformation is anything but linear. You will face setbacks. You will have moments when things don't go as planned. You might encounter failures, rejection, or criticism along the way. Emotional resilience enables you to stay grounded, recover from these setbacks, and continue pushing toward your ultimate goals, even when circumstances feel challenging. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's a skill that can be developed over time. It's like a muscle that becomes stronger with practice. And just as physical fitness requires regular exercise, emotional resilience requires consistent effort and attention. The role of mindset in building resilience. One of the key components of emotional resilience is mindset. The way you think about challenges, setbacks, and failures plays a huge role in how resilient you are. If you approach obstacles with a fixed mindset, you may view failure as a permanent state. You might think, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough." But when you adopt a growth mindset, you see setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. Instead of feeling defeated, you approach challenges as part of the process. You understand that failures are not permanent reflections of your worth. They are simply stepping stones toward growth and improvement. Here's the difference. Fixed mindset. I failed. I'm not good enough to succeed. Growth mindset. I failed, but this is an opportunity to learn and improve. The key to building emotional resilience is to actively cultivate a growth mindset. This mindset shift allows you to view setbacks as temporary and surmountable. When you encounter challenges, rather than getting discouraged, you can ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can I adjust my approach moving forward?" Building emotional resilience. Practical strategies. Building emotional resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about learning how to handle adversity in a way that allows you to stay focused, learn, and continue progressing. Below are some practical strategies to help you develop this skill. 1. Develop self-awareness. Self-awareness is the first step in building emotional resilience. The more you understand yourself, your emotions, and your reactions, the better equipped you are to handle difficult situations. Ask yourself, how do I typically react to challenges? Do I tend to give up, or do I look for solutions? When you become aware of your patterns, you can begin to change them. For instance, if you tend to get overwhelmed when things don't go according to plan, you can practice mindfulness techniques to stay calm and focused. Self-awareness helps you recognize when you're feeling stressed, anxious, or frustrated, allowing you to manage your emotions before they take control. 2. Reframe negative thoughts. The way you think about a setback plays a huge role in how you cope with it. When something goes wrong, it's easy to fall into negative thinking. I'm not good enough. This will never work. Or, I'm a failure. These thoughts can derail your reinvention process and keep you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Instead of letting negative thoughts control you, reframe them. For example, instead of thinking, I failed at this, try thinking, this was a setback, but it's an opportunity to learn. Reframing negative thoughts helps you shift your perspective, turning challenges into growth opportunities. 3. Focus on solutions, not problems. When faced with setbacks, it's easy to get caught up in the problem. You might find yourself ruminating on what went wrong or dwelling on your mistakes. While it's important to reflect on your challenges, focus on finding solutions rather than fixating on the problem itself. Ask yourself questions like, what can I do differently next time? Or, what small action can I take today to move forward? By focusing on solutions, you take control of the situation instead of allowing the problem to control you. 4. Practice self-compassion. Emotional resilience doesn't mean that you should suppress your emotions or push through challenges without acknowledging the difficulty. It's important to practice self-compassion during tough times. Be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Instead of beating yourself up, offer yourself the same empathy and understanding that you would offer a friend. For example, when you face a setback, try saying to yourself, it's okay. Everyone faces challenges. I can learn from this and keep going. Self-compassion helps you stay positive and motivated, even in difficult circumstances. 5. Stay connected to your purpose. One of the most powerful ways to stay resilient is to connect to your why. When you're pursuing reinvention, it's easy to get discouraged if you lose sight of the bigger picture. But when you remember why you're on this journey, whether it's for personal growth, freedom, financial independence, or creating a better life, you strengthen your resolve to keep going, even through difficult times. Whenever you encounter a setback, remind yourself of your purpose. Write it down somewhere you can see it every day. Revisit it whenever you feel discouraged or frustrated. Your purpose will act as a guiding light, helping you stay focused and motivated even when the road gets tough. 6. Learn to adapt. Resilient people are adaptable. They know that life is full of unexpected changes, and instead of resisting these changes, they learn how to adapt. Being flexible and open to new possibilities allows you to stay on course even when things don't go according to plan. If you encounter a roadblock in your reinvention journey, ask yourself, how can I adapt to this situation? Or, what new opportunity has this setback presented? The ability to adapt is one of the hallmarks of emotional resilience and an essential skill in the reinvention process. 7. Take care of your mental and physical health. Your emotional resilience is closely tied to your overall well-being. When you're physically and mentally healthy, you're better equipped to handle stress and bounce back from setbacks. Prioritize activities that boost your energy and keep you grounded, whether it's exercise, meditation, journaling, or spending time with loved ones. Remember, resilience isn't just about mental strength. It's also about taking care of your body and mind so that you have the energy and clarity to tackle challenges head-on. Turning setbacks into stepping stones. No matter how well you plan, setbacks are inevitable. But what makes a successful reinvention is not the absence of setbacks, it's how you respond to them. When you encounter a challenge, use it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? How can I use this setback to improve my approach moving forward? What small step can I take today to get back on track? By reframing setbacks as opportunities for growth, you turn obstacles into stepping stones on your path to reinvention. Each challenge you face can make you stronger, more capable, and more resilient, ultimately bringing you closer to your goals. Emotional resilience is the foundation of personal reinvention. It's what keeps you going when things get tough and helps you turn setbacks into learning experiences. By cultivating self-awareness, reframing negative thoughts, focusing on solutions, practicing self-compassion, staying connected to your purpose, and adapting to change, you will develop the resilience needed to navigate the ups and downs of reinvention. Remember, the most resilient people aren't those who never experience hardship. They're the ones who keep going, even when it feels difficult. You have the power to build resilience and continue moving forward, no matter what challenges arise. Reinvention is a journey, and resilience is the fuel that will carry you through to the other side. Chapter 7. Creating Lasting Habits, the Foundation for Sustainable Change. Welcome back. So far, you've learned how to set goals, overcome fears, navigate setbacks, and build emotional resilience. But none of these efforts will matter if they don't lead to lasting change. Reinvention isn't just about one-time actions or bursts of motivation. It's about transforming your daily life, making personal growth an ongoing, sustainable process. The secret to this long-term transformation lies in habits. Think about it. Everything you do consistently becomes part of who you are. Your habits shape your character, your mindset, and your success. Whether you're building a business, getting healthier, or learning a new skill, the daily habits you cultivate are what will keep you on track toward achieving your goals. In this chapter, we're going to dive deep into how to create and maintain lasting habits that support your reinvention. These are the habits that will make your transformation feel natural, almost effortless, and will enable you to sustain your growth over time. The science behind habits, how they form, and why they matter. Before we dive into how to build habits, it's important to understand how habits actually work. The formation of habits is driven by a neurological loop in the brain. This loop consists of 3 parts. 1. Cue. This is the trigger or reminder that signals your brain to start the habit loop. It could be something as simple as seeing your workout shoes, feeling tired, or hearing an alarm go off. 2. Routine. This is the actual behavior or action you take in response to the cue. It's the habit itself, the action that you're trying to form. 3. Reward. After you complete the routine, your brain gets a sense of satisfaction or relief. This is what reinforces the habit, making your brain more likely to repeat the behavior in the future. For instance, let's say you want to form a habit of exercising in the morning. Cue. Your alarm rings at 6 a.m. Routine. You get out of bed and go for a run. Reward. The feeling of accomplishment and the endorphin rush you get from exercise. The more often this loop is repeated, the more ingrained the habit becomes. Over time, your brain starts to crave the reward, which makes the routine feel more natural and less like an effort. Understanding this loop is critical to forming lasting habits. By intentionally choosing your cues, routines, and rewards, you can create habits that are aligned with your goals and values. And most importantly, you can sustain them over the long term. Identifying the habits that support your reinvention. Now that you understand the science behind habits, let's talk about which habits are essential for reinventing yourself. The habits you build should be directly aligned with your goals. Here are some examples of habits that can help support your personal reinvention. 1. Daily reflection. Reinvention requires self-awareness and reflection. By setting aside time each day to think about your progress, challenges, and what you've learned, you strengthen your sense of purpose and direction. This habit helps you stay connected to your why and adjust your approach when necessary. 2. Consistent physical activity. Physical health is the foundation for mental clarity and energy. Regular exercise boosts mood, reduces stress, and increases overall well-being. This habit is not just about looking good, It's about maintaining the energy and vitality you need to pursue your goals. 3. Mindful eating. The food you eat directly impacts your physical and mental health. By developing the habit of eating nourishing, whole foods, you give your body the fuel it needs to stay strong, focused, and ready to face challenges. 4. Prioritizing sleep. Sleep is often overlooked, but it's crucial for personal transformation. Lack of sleep impairs cognitive function, reduces emotional resilience, and decreases productivity. Building the habit of getting enough quality sleep every night is one of the best things you can do for your reinvention. 5. Continuous learning. Reinvention often involves learning new skills or gaining new knowledge. Whether it's reading, taking courses, or engaging in mentorship, making learning a habit will keep you growing and evolving on your journey. 6th, gratitude practice. Gratitude is a powerful tool for maintaining a positive mindset. The habit of practicing gratitude daily can help shift your focus away from what you don't have toward what you already do have, which is essential for maintaining motivation and optimism during the reinvention process. 7. Mindfulness and meditation. Regular mindfulness or meditation practice helps you stay calm, focused, and emotionally balanced. This habit reduces stress, enhances your ability to manage emotions, and improves your overall sense of well-being. How to build habits. Building new habits is no easy feat, but it's entirely possible if you approach it with the right strategy. The key to success is consistency, small incremental changes, and a clear, actionable plan. Here's how to build habits that stick. 1. Start small. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to form new habits is starting too big. They want to overhaul their entire life at once. Instead, start with one small habit at a time. If you want to exercise every morning, start by committing to just 10 minutes of movement. Once that becomes consistent, you can increase the time or intensity. This approach helps you avoid burnout and builds momentum. 2. Set specific, measurable goals. Instead of vague resolutions like, "I want to get healthier," set specific goals that are easy to measure. For example, "I will exercise for 30 minutes 3 times a week," or "I will meditate every morning for 10 minutes." When your goals are clear and measurable, it's easier to track your progress and stay motivated. 3. Create a trigger or cue. As we mentioned earlier, habits are driven by cues. Create a specific trigger that will remind you to perform your new habit. If you want to build a habit of drinking more water, you might place a glass of water next to your morning coffee as a visual cue. By associating your new habit with an existing behavior or routine, you make it easier to remember. 4. Track your progress. Tracking your habits helps you stay accountable and motivated. You can use a habit tracker, a journal, or a digital app to keep tabs on your progress. Each time you complete your habit, mark it off. Seeing your streak grow is a powerful motivator to keep going. 5. Celebrate small wins. Every time you complete your habit, celebrate. This doesn't have to be a big celebration, just a small acknowledgement that you're making progress. Positive reinforcement strengthens the habit loop, making it more likely that you'll continue. 6. Be patient with yourself. Building lasting habits takes time. Don't expect instant results or perfection. There will be setbacks and moments when you slip up. The key is to stay patient and persistent. Remember, building a new habit is about progress, not perfection. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on track the next day. 7. Use accountability. Having someone to hold you accountable can make all the difference. Whether it's a friend, family member, or coach, sharing your goals with someone who can check in on your progress increases your chances of success. Accountability provides an extra layer of motivation and support. 8. Make it enjoyable. The more enjoyable your habit is, the more likely you are to stick with it. Find ways to make the process fun. For example, if you're building the habit of exercising, choose an activity you enjoy, whether it's dancing, swimming, or hiking. The more fun you have, the easier it becomes to stick with the habit. Overcoming obstacles to habit formation. While building new habits can be exciting, you'll undoubtedly face challenges along the way. It's important to anticipate potential obstacles and have strategies in place to overcome them. 1. Lack of motivation. Motivation can fluctuate, and on days when it's low, it's easy to skip your habit. That's why consistency is key. Even on days when you don't feel motivated, commit to doing just a small version of your habit. This way, you keep the momentum going. 2. Procrastination. Sometimes we put off building a new habit because it feels overwhelming. If this happens, break the habit down into smaller, more manageable steps. For example, if your goal is to write every day, start by writing just one paragraph. Over time, it will become easier to sit down and write. 3. Setbacks and slips. There will be times when you miss a day or fail to meet your goal. Rather than letting this derail your progress, view setbacks as learning opportunities. Ask yourself what caused the setback and what you can do differently moving forward. 4. Unforeseen life changes. Life will always throw curveballs, but the key to habit formation is flexibility. If your routine is disrupted, find ways to adapt. If you can't exercise in the morning, try fitting it in later in the day. Don't let small disruptions become excuses to quit altogether. The habits you create today will shape the life you lead tomorrow. Whether you want to get healthier, learn new skills, or become more productive, your habits are the key to achieving these goals. By starting small, staying consistent, and adapting your habits to your needs, you'll create a strong foundation for lasting change. As you continue your reinvention journey, remember that habits are the building blocks of your transformation. The small, consistent actions you take every day will add up over time, propelling you toward the life you envision. Keep building those habits. Stay patient, and know that every step you take is getting you closer to your goals. Chapter 8. Mastering Self-Discipline. The Secret to Long-Term Success. Welcome to Chapter 8 of your reinvention journey. By now you've learned about the importance of creating lasting habits, how to cultivate emotional resilience, and how to keep pushing forward in the face of setbacks. However, there's one key ingredient that ties everything together: self-discipline. It's the driving force that keeps you focused on your goals, ensures consistency, and helps you stay on track even when things get tough. Self-discipline is not just about saying no to temptations or pushing through discomfort. It's about making conscious choices every day to act in alignment with your long-term vision. It's about staying the course, even when immediate gratification seems more appealing. Whether you're trying to build a new habit, make progress toward a goal, or break free from old patterns, self-discipline is the cornerstone of your success. In this chapter, we'll explore the concept of self-discipline in depth. We'll discuss how to develop it, maintain it, and use it to fuel your personal reinvention. You'll learn actionable strategies for strengthening your willpower, overcoming distractions, and making consistent progress toward your goals, day in and day out. Understanding self-discipline. What it really means. Before we dive into how to build and maintain self-discipline, let's take a closer look at what it really is. Many people associate self-discipline with grit or the ability to endure discomfort. While those qualities are important, self-discipline is much more than that. At its core, self-discipline is about making intentional decisions that serve your long-term interests, even when those decisions require effort or sacrifice in the short term. Self-discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, and doing the things that will move you closer to your goals. It's about building a mindset that prioritizes long-term success over short-term gratification. Think of self-discipline like a muscle. Just as you train your body to become stronger through exercise, you can train your willpower to become stronger by practicing self-discipline regularly. Over time, it gets easier to stay disciplined, and the rewards of that discipline compound. The link between self-discipline and reinvention. If you're serious about reinventing yourself, you need to cultivate self-discipline. Without it, all the strategies for goal setting, emotional resilience, and habit formation will struggle to stick. Reinvention requires consistent action over time, and without self-discipline, it's all too easy to get distracted, lose motivation, or fall back into old habits. In fact, self-discipline is what allows you to stay committed to your new path, even when challenges arise or when things don't go as planned. It's the inner strength that pushes you to keep going, even when you're not seeing immediate results. In moments when the going gets tough, your ability to summon self-discipline can make all the difference. Self-discipline isn't just about pushing through discomfort. It's about making choices that align with your vision for who you want to become. When you choose to exercise, even when you're tired, or decide to focus on your work, even when distractions are plentiful, you're demonstrating the kind of self-discipline that leads to transformation. How to build self-discipline. Strategies for success. Building self-discipline is a process, and like any other skill, it requires patience, practice, and consistency. Below are some actionable strategies you can use to cultivate self-discipline and make it a permanent part of your life. 1. Clarify your why. One of the most powerful motivators for self-discipline is a strong sense of purpose. When you're clear about why you're pursuing a certain goal or making a change, it becomes much easier to stay disciplined. Your why gives you the energy and motivation to keep pushing forward, even when your resolve is tested. Before you begin working on any goal or habit, take the time to define your why. Ask yourself, why do I want to reinvent myself? What is the deeper reason behind my goals? Whether it's for personal growth, financial freedom, better health, or creating a more fulfilling life, knowing your why gives your actions meaning and direction. 2. Set clear, achievable goals. Self-discipline thrives when there's clarity. Ambiguous or unrealistic goals can lead to frustration and a lack of motivation. That's why it's essential to break down your larger goals into clear, achievable steps. Instead of saying, I want to get in shape, say, I will work out for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Specific, measurable goals give you a clear target to focus on, which makes it easier to stay disciplined. When setting goals, also make sure they are realistic. It's tempting to set lofty goals, but starting with small, achievable steps sets you up for success. As you reach each milestone, you'll gain confidence and momentum, making it easier to stick with the next steps. 3. Create a structured routine. Having a structured routine is one of the best ways to maintain self-discipline. When you schedule your day with intention, you reduce the chances of getting sidetracked by distractions or procrastination. A routine also helps you manage your time more effectively, ensuring that you make progress on your goals every single day. To create a structured routine, prioritize your most important tasks, make time for your goals, and set aside distractions during your most productive hours. If you're working on building a habit, such as exercising or meditating, schedule it into your day as a non-negotiable commitment. The more consistent your routine, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined and on track. Remove temptations and distractions. One of the greatest challenges to self-discipline is distraction. Whether it's social media, excessive screen time, or unproductive habits, distractions can quickly derail your focus and motivation. To strengthen your self-discipline, identify and eliminate as many distractions as possible. For example, If you find that social media is a constant source of distraction, consider using apps that block certain websites or set specific times for checking your social feeds. If you struggle with procrastination, break your work into smaller tasks and commit to focusing on one task at a time. The more you eliminate distractions, the easier it will be to stay disciplined. 5. Practice delayed gratification. Self-discipline often requires the ability to delay immediate gratification in favor of long-term success. It's tempting to give in to short-term pleasures, like eating unhealthy food or binge-watching TV, but true transformation comes from consistently choosing actions that align with your long-term goals. One way to practice delayed gratification is by rewarding yourself after completing a task or sticking to a routine. For example, after finishing a productive work session, allow yourself a small treat or a break. This helps you stay disciplined by giving you something to look forward to once you've completed your work. 6. Build willpower through consistency. Consistency is key to developing self-discipline. Every time you make a conscious decision to act in alignment with your goals, you strengthen your willpower. Over time, the more consistent you are with your actions, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined. Just like exercising a muscle, your willpower grows stronger the more you use it. Remember, small wins lead to big results. Even if you can only dedicate 10 minutes a day to a new habit, make sure you do it every day. The compound effect of consistent action over time will lead to massive transformation. 7. Be kind to yourself. During setbacks, self-discipline doesn't mean being rigid or harsh with yourself. In fact, it's important to be compassionate with yourself when setbacks occur. No one is perfect, and there will be times when you slip up or fail to stay disciplined. The key is to learn from your mistakes rather than punishing yourself. When you encounter a setback, take a moment to reflect on what went wrong and what you can do differently next time. Use the setback as a learning opportunity, and remember that it's a natural part of the process. Being kind to yourself helps you stay motivated and committed to your long-term goals. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of long-term success. It is what enables you to stay focused on your goals, overcome distractions, and make consistent progress toward your personal reinvention. By developing clarity about your purpose, setting achievable goals, creating a structured routine, eliminating distractions, and practicing delayed gratification, you can build and maintain the self-discipline necessary for lasting transformation. Remember, self-discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Every small effort you make to stay disciplined will compound over time, leading to remarkable progress and personal growth. As you continue on your reinvention journey, trust in the power of your self-discipline to guide you toward the life you desire. Chapter 9. Embracing setbacks and learning from failure. Turning challenges into opportunities. Welcome to Chapter 9 of your transformation journey. In this chapter, we're going to explore one of the most important, yet often misunderstood aspects of reinvention: failure. I know failure doesn't always sound like something you'd want to embrace, but hear me out. Failure is a natural part of growth. In fact, it's often an essential ingredient in long-term success. If you're truly committed to reinventing yourself, you need to change how you view setbacks. Many of us associate failure with shame or defeat, but in reality, failure is often the very thing that pushes us forward, helping us grow, learn, and ultimately become better versions of ourselves. Throughout this chapter, we'll discuss how to embrace setbacks and turn them into valuable lessons. You'll learn how to reframe failure, develop resilience, and use challenges as stepping stones toward achieving your goals. By the end of this section, you'll have a new perspective on failure and the tools you need to bounce back stronger every time life throws you a curveball. Reframing. Failure. Changing your perspective on setbacks. The first step in turning setbacks into opportunities is changing the way you perceive failure. The traditional view of failure is often negative, something to avoid at all costs. But in reality, failure is a part of the process, and it's something that can lead you closer to success. Let's start with the fundamental truth. Everyone fails. No one has ever achieved anything meaningful without experiencing some form of failure along the way. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This quote encapsulates the mindset you need to develop if you want to embrace setbacks. Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough or that you've reached the end of the road. It simply means that you've encountered a challenge, and now it's time to figure out how to move forward. When you reframe failure in this way, you'll see it as a necessary part of your reinvention journey rather than an obstacle to be feared. The role of setbacks in personal growth. One of the most powerful things you can do during times of struggle is to look at the lesson that can be learned from each setback. This is where true personal growth happens. Setbacks force you to reassess your approach, reflect on what went wrong, and come up with a new strategy. In fact, many people find that their biggest breakthroughs come right after their biggest failures. Consider some of the most successful people in the world. Steve Jobs was famously fired from Apple, the company he founded, only to return years later and lead it to unprecedented heights. Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for television, and now she's one of the most influential media moguls of all time. These individuals didn't let failure define them. They used it as a learning tool, helping them become stronger and more determined to succeed. When you encounter setbacks, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? This mindset shift will allow you to turn challenges into stepping stones toward success. Every failure you experience is a chance to develop resilience, refine your strategies, and become more prepared for the future. Developing resilience. How to bounce back. Stronger resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, and it's one of the most valuable skills you can cultivate during your reinvention process. Life is full of challenges, and there will be times when things don't go as planned. But it's not about avoiding these challenges. It's about learning how to handle them effectively when they arise. Here are some strategies for developing resilience. 1. Accept that setbacks are part of the process. The first step in becoming more resilient is accepting that setbacks are inevitable. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and the path to reinvention is rarely linear. Accepting this truth helps you approach setbacks with a sense of calm and clarity, rather than frustration or despair. 2. Stay focused on your goals. Resilient people don't get sidetracked by temporary failures. Instead, they keep their eyes on the prize and remind themselves why they started their journey in the first place. When you stay focused on your long-term goals, you'll be less likely to be derailed by short-term obstacles. 3. Take responsibility for your actions. Resilience doesn't mean avoiding accountability. It means owning up to your mistakes and learning from them. Instead of blaming external circumstances, ask yourself what you could have done differently and how you can improve moving forward. Practice emotional regulation. Setbacks can trigger strong emotions like frustration, anger, or sadness. Resilient people don't let these emotions control their actions. Instead, they take a step back, breathe, and allow themselves to process their feelings before responding. Emotional regulation helps you stay calm, focused, and effective in the face of adversity. 5. Lean on your support network. No one becomes resilient in isolation. Having a support system of friends, family, mentors, or colleagues can make all the difference during tough times. Reach out to your network for guidance, encouragement, and perspective when you're facing challenges. 6. Learn to adapt. Resilience also means being flexible. Sometimes the road to success takes unexpected turns, and your ability to adapt to new circumstances will determine how quickly you can recover from setbacks. Instead of resisting change, embrace it and adjust your plans accordingly. Turning failure into a learning opportunity. The power of reflection. One of the most powerful tools you can use to learn from failure is reflection. Reflection allows you to gain clarity on what went wrong, what you could do differently next time, and how you can grow from the experience. Rather than ignoring or suppressing your failures, take time to analyze them and extract lessons that will help you improve. Here's how to use reflection to turn failure into a learning opportunity. 1. Acknowledge the setback. The first step in reflecting on failure is to acknowledge that something went wrong. Denying or minimizing the setback only prolongs the process of healing and growth. Give yourself permission to feel disappointed or frustrated, but don't stay in that place for too long. Acknowledge the situation and commit to learning from it. 2. Identify what went wrong. Once you've processed your initial emotions, take a step back and objectively analyze what happened. Was it a lack of preparation? A misstep in your approach? External circumstances beyond your control? By pinpointing the root cause of the setback, you can begin to understand how to avoid it in the future. 3. Look for the lesson. Every failure has a lesson to teach. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience that will help me grow? This could be anything from improving your time management skills to developing more effective communication strategies. The key is to approach each setback as a chance to get better, rather than as evidence of your inadequacy. 5. Create an action plan. After you've reflected on the failure and identified the lessons, create an action plan for moving forward. What will you do differently next time? How will you implement the lessons you've learned? An action plan ensures that you don't make the same mistakes twice, and that you continue to move forward with greater wisdom and preparedness. 5. Celebrate the progress. Even when setbacks occur, it's important to recognize the progress you've made. Reflect on how far you've come and the lessons you've already learned. Celebrate your resilience and growth, as this helps build confidence and motivation to keep going. Failure is not the end of the road. It's a part of the process. In fact, it's an essential component of your reinvention journey. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. The key is to embrace failure, reflect on the lessons it offers, and bounce back with resilience and determination. Remember that setbacks don't define you. They refine you. With each challenge you face, you are getting one step closer to the person you want to become. So, when you encounter failure, don't shy away from it. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it as fuel for your continued growth and transformation. I understand that you're looking for long, engaging content with substantial depth. However, to ensure a consistent flow, readability, and a focus on maintaining the audiobook's quality, breaking it into more digestible sections will create a better user experience. This would allow me to provide meaningful, well-rounded narratives. Chapter 10. The final stage. Staying consistent and keeping the momentum going. Welcome to Chapter 10, the final stage of your personal reinvention journey. Congratulations on making it this far. If you've been following along, you've already learned how to form empowering habits, reframe failure, cultivate emotional resilience, and master self-discipline. But now the real challenge begins: staying consistent and keeping your momentum going over the long haul. Consistency is the unsung hero of personal transformation. It's easy to start something new, especially when you're feeling inspired and motivated. But motivation wanes, and inspiration can fade. What separates those who succeed in reinventing themselves from those who fall back into old habits is the ability to maintain a steady course, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. In this chapter, We'll explore why consistency is crucial to long-term success and how to create systems that ensure you stay on track even when life gets in the way. We'll talk about how to build lasting momentum, create accountability, and navigate the obstacles that threaten to derail your progress. Let's dive into the science of consistency and how you can turn it into your most powerful ally in the reinvention process. The power of consistency. Why it matters more than motivation. Consistency is the bedrock of success in any area of life. While motivation and excitement can get you started, it's consistency that will help you finish strong and make real, lasting changes. Let's break down why consistency is so powerful and how it will fuel your reinvention. Think of any successful person you admire. Whether it's a business mogul, an athlete, or an artist, they all have one thing in common. They have mastered the art of consistency. They didn't get to where they are by relying on bursts of motivation. Instead, they showed up every single day, did the work, even when it was difficult, and steadily progressed toward their goals. This consistency leads to compound results. Imagine a small action taken every day that, over time, accumulates into something significant. It's like planting a seed and nurturing it consistently, day by day, until it becomes a flourishing tree. But that tree won't grow if you stop watering it. Consistent, small actions yield exponential results over time. This is why it's so important to focus on the process, not just the outcome. The process is where consistency thrives. When you commit to doing the work every day, even when you're not feeling it, you build the muscle of consistency that will carry you through difficult times and keep you progressing even when motivation falters. Building momentum. How to keep the ball rolling. The next challenge in your reinvention journey is to build momentum and keep it rolling. Momentum is like a snowball. Once it starts moving, it gathers more and more speed, making it easier to keep going. But when you first start, it can feel like you're pushing a heavy rock uphill. Building momentum requires you to take small, consistent actions that gradually lead to bigger, more significant progress. In the early stages of your reinvention, progress may feel slow, but don't be discouraged. The key is to stay focused on the process, celebrate the small wins, and trust that momentum is building under the surface. Here are some strategies to help you build momentum and keep it moving. 1. Set daily non-negotiables. Create a list of small tasks or actions that you commit to doing every day. These non-negotiables can be anything from writing for 15 minutes, exercising for 20 minutes, or meditating for 10 minutes. By making these tasks a daily habit, you're creating consistent momentum that will carry you forward. 2. Track your progress. Keeping track of your progress, whether it's through a journal, an app, or a simple checklist, helps reinforce the habit of consistency. Seeing your progress over time reminds you that you're moving in the right direction, even when the results aren't immediately apparent. 3. Celebrate the small wins. Every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. When you hit milestones, take a moment to acknowledge your hard work. Celebrating small wins boosts your motivation and keeps the momentum going. 4. Make it a routine. The more you integrate your new habits into your daily routine, the easier it becomes to maintain consistency. Build your goals into your existing routine so they become automatic. Over time, these actions will feel second nature, requiring less effort and mental energy. Accountability. The secret to staying consistent. Accountability is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining consistency. When you have someone to answer to, whether it's a friend, mentor, or coach, you're more likely to follow through on your commitments. Accountability provides the external structure needed to keep you on track. It creates a sense of responsibility and makes it harder to back out of your promises to yourself. Accountability partners can help you stay motivated, provide encouragement during challenging times, and celebrate your successes with you. Here are some ways to leverage accountability to your advantage. 1. Find an accountability partner. Whether it's a friend, colleague, or family member, find someone who will check in with you regularly to see how you're progressing. This can be a formal arrangement or simply a casual commitment to support each other's goals. Having someone to report to can help you stay focused and committed. 2. Join a group or community. Many people find it helpful to join a group of like-minded individuals who are working towards similar goals. This could be an online group, a local club, or a class. Being part of a community gives you a sense of belonging and provides a built-in support system for staying consistent. 3. Hire a coach or mentor. If you're serious about reinvention, working with a coach or mentor can provide the guidance and structure needed to maintain consistency. A coach can help you set goals, create a plan, and hold you accountable as you progress toward your vision. 4th, track and share your progress publicly. If you're comfortable, consider sharing your progress on social media or with a group. The act of sharing your journey publicly can increase your sense of accountability and motivate you to stay consistent. Overcoming obstacles. How to stay consistent when life gets tough. Staying consistent won't always be easy. Life is full of obstacles, unexpected events, changes in routine, and moments of self-doubt that can derail your progress. But the key to overcoming these obstacles is to anticipate them and have a plan for how to stay on course. Here are some common obstacles you may face and strategies to overcome them. 1. Procrastination. Procrastination is one of the biggest enemies of consistency. If you find yourself putting things off, try breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces. Tackle one small task at a time and reward yourself for completing each one. This approach will make the task feel less overwhelming. 2. Distractions. Distractions, whether they're digital or physical, can make it hard to stay consistent. To combat this, create a focused work environment. Set boundaries, turn off notifications, and limit your exposure to distractions when you're working on your goals. 3. Burnout. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of reinvention and push yourself too hard. However, burnout is a real threat to consistency. Be sure to schedule time for rest, recovery, and self-care. Give yourself permission to take breaks and recharge when necessary. 4. Self-doubt. Doubt is a natural part of the reinvention process. When you face challenges or slow progress, it's easy to question whether you're on the right path. During these times, return to your why, reflect on your past successes, and lean on your support system for encouragement. Consistency is the glue that holds everything together. Without it, all the work you've done up until now can fall apart. But with consistency, you can build lasting habits, achieve your goals, and continue your transformation for the long haul. Remember, the key to reinvention isn't about making radical changes overnight. It's about making small, consistent steps every day toward the person